Hi guys, welcome back to Two Girls One Bong.
Podcast that's better if you're stoned, and we filmed this intro. Is this number 5?
17 actually. 17
5
times it's been
now.
Yeah.
My name is Mac Dizzle.
I'm Joya. Let's dive on in.
Joy is having some mic issues today. We're not sure where they're coming from, but it is what we're dealing with, and the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't sound too bad in your headphones, in your speaker, in your car, wherever you're listening to this. I hope it doesn't sound too horrible. I hope it sounds better than it does in Mac Dizzle's headphones.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, fuck.
It's okay. We made the executive decision to just power through. We tried troubleshooting it for like the last 20 minutes. We can't figure it out. But hopefully by next episode, we'll fucking have something figured out. Maybe a new mic, maybe a lobotomy. Who knows?
For both of us.
Both.
A double lobotomy. Yeah.
They offer like the 2-for-1 special.
Fuck yeah. Why haven't we done that yet?
Honestly.
Oh, God.
People look at being as a vegetable as such a down thing. Like, I don't have to think or pay rent. Nice.
Yeah. Anything
Nice.
at all, really. You don't have to do anything.
I'm biggest on the not paying rent. Like, if I'm incapable, like, how could you expect me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Down with capitalism. Anyway,
Period.
so I have a current event for the day, and I'm eager to speak about it.
Okay.
Have you seen anything about the Megan Thee Stallion Tory Lanez trial?
I sure have.
You sure have.
I sure have.
I watched everything like 10 minutes before this started. I watched
Oh,
everything
okay.
that the Shade Room had.
Oh, okay. I was reading on Twitter. I read from what the defense said and also what the prosecution said.
Yes, so I've heard both of the statements. If you're not interested in this, just skip ahead like 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. I don't know how long I'm going to be talking about this, but just know that I need to speak about this because we've been waiting 2 years.
I don't know how long it's been. Yeah, I mean something. I don't think it's been.
It's been years
since
since this. It's been years since this incident happened, and I just parasocial relationship. I want to know what happened to my girl. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm super surprised, first and foremost, that her ex-best friend Kelsey is one of their witnesses.
The prosecution.
Yeah, so it's one of Megan's witnesses, not Tori's. And the way that Tori's been painting it out is like that Kelsey's on his side, and Kelsey's also been like ops with Megan. It's been super weird. They made diss songs for each other. It was.
Have you listened to that? The Kelsey one?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was not good. It wasn't bad, but it was just not good.
Leave the rapping for the rap girlies, Kelsey.
Yeah, there's a reason that you're in the managing side of things, honey.
Yeah,
okay?
she's a real estate agent now. Do that.
Like,
Do that.
please.
Yeah.
Do that.
And also I found out that she's a mom as well, so congratulations to her. I went on her
Yeah, she just had a
Instagram.
baby. She just
Yeah.
had a baby recently.
Yeah.
So congrats, Kelsey. Shouts out to your uterus. Love that
Yeah.
for you.
Go on, girl.
But so here's the two sides of the story that are coming out. And as we all know, there's 3 sides to every story.
What are they?
One side, the other side, and the truth. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yours, mine, and the truth. And so here is what the prosecution is alleging happened that night. And this is Megan's side of the story. They're saying that they were all in the car. They were pretty intoxicated.
Well, it starts from even before then, right? Well,
So
I
yeah, they
guess.
were hanging out at Kylie Jenner's house.
Yeah.
They were all hanging out at Kylie Jenner's house. There was some behavior between Kylie and Tori in a pool. They were in a pool together, and Megan and Kelsey had both been fucking Tori, allegedly. And
I actually didn't read anything about Kylie and Tori. About
this
there
might
being
be. I might be getting the sides crossed.
Because you know what? I think you're right, because I don't think the prosecution said anything about Kylie like kicking Megan out.
No, that was
the
Tori's
defense.
side.
Well,
yeah,
we'll talk
'cause
about that in a
Kylie's
bit.
gonna be one of Tori's witnesses. I'm pretty sure. But she wasn't there for the fucking incident, so how the fuck would she know, first and foremost?
Right. Only how... And you're right, because the defense was like, oh, well, it matters when the situation, what happened at the beginning or whatever.
Yeah, so I think that the defense has come to the conclusion that they were both fucking Tori. That Kelsey and Megan were fucking Tori, and that they both had an issue with him in a pool with Kylie. And at that point, they wanted to leave the venue, and so they left, and they were getting into it in the car about it. And at that point, Megan insulted Tori's music, and that's when things got crazy. She got out of the car, and he allegedly told her to dance, bitch, and shot at her feet. And then she ended up going to the hospital and having bullet fragments pulled from her foot. The prosecution says that Kelsey is going to say, what the fuck was she going to say?
That she saw Tori shoot Megan.
Yes. That she saw Tori shoot Megan. Like, that's what she's going to say, that she saw that. And they have text messages and just like a lot of circumstantial evidence, too.
Text messages. He left Kelsey a voicemail from jail saying, I'm so sorry for my behavior last night. I shouldn't have done that. I was so drunk. And he also texted Megan and said, I'm so sorry for doing that to you. Texted Kelsey, texted Megan, and left Kelsey a voicemail saying, I'm so sorry. That's like with his own voice. They played that with his own voice.
But he doesn't say what he's sorry for. And
and why would he?
And they're trying to twist it on the other side to be like, he was apologizing for cheating. He was apologizing for sleeping with both of them. He was apologizing for that. And so the defense is alleging that night, Tori and Kylie were getting like flirtatious or whatever. And Megan made a big scene about it. And Kylie said that she needed to leave. And so I guess they all left.
So I think what I read was that Kylie, I didn't read anything about Kylie being in a love triangle or anything. I read that Kylie Jenner kicked Megan out.
I heard about them in a pool, and that's what set it off.
And the defense said that in their opening statement? Or is that like part of a...
I don't remember. I can literally look it up and see right now, though.
Because I didn't read anything about the defense and saying anything about Tori and Kylie. What I read was that Kylie said, y'all need to get the fuck out of here because Megan was belligerent. And probably, I think, at the group, which I was talking to Adam about it last night. And I'm like, obviously, I don't believe anything fucking Tory Lane says. But that part of the story... Like,
I do believe
Megan
that she might have been belligerent.
Being belligerent. I was like, I have seen some fucking videos of her looking so drunk.
You know what
yes,
I mean?
just so. I've never seen her look crazy or violent or like, but I've seen her
like
look
gone.
Not there in the face. Nobody home. Just so fucked up. So I was like, I could see that happening where if Kylie Jenner, the fucking mogul that she is, and the fucking PR image that the Kardashians have to keep up, being like, you need to leave. And then what they said was that in the car, because they're all arguing like, bitch, you just got us kicked out of Kylie Jenner's house, that this is what I read on Twitter, that it came out that Megan and Tori fucked, but Kelsey and Tori were together first. And then they were like,
oh,
Megan did this with the baby and Ben Simmons. Right.
And Ben Simmons came out and he was like, accusations.
Now, why am I in it? Why am I in it?
Can I just play the guy who was in court? I have his audio right here.
Is it the prosecution or the defense?
It's for both sides. It'll tell both sides pretty clear cut of what's happening.
It's a journalist. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just going to play it so we can all hear it. This is from the Shade Room.
Is it that kind of bald guy?
No, he looks...
Okay, yeah, sorry. That's actually who I meant. That's kind of who I was thinking of. I don't know why I thought he was
has
bald.
So much hair, Joya.
Yeah, I don't know why. I think maybe because the video cuts the top of his head off. I'm not even kidding.
Full head of beautiful hair. What's wrong with you? I wish I had that hairline. My God. So this is from the Instagram Lawyer for Workers. I'm just trying to give credit everywhere before I use this audio. I don't want to get in trouble anywhere.
We do not own this audio.
Watch the defense's opening statement, you would say, what the hell is the prosecution thinking charging him? Basically, the prosecution started with this story. They said that, hey, they're all at the party, and Tori is leaving the party with Meg. They're in the car. An argument breaks out, during which Meg says and insults his skills as a rap artist. This leads to a situation
I got
where
things twisted.
She gets out of the car, and he shoots at her feet and yells, "Damn." She ends up at a hospital, and a doctor takes out 3 fragments of bullet wounds from her foot. Now, if you just and the prosecution says that Kelsey, the other woman in the car, is going to testify that Tori shot Meg, and Kelsey has a text message where she texts somebody that, hey, Tori shot Meg.
The security.
And then the rest of the prosecution's case is based on all these calls and texts where Tori's like, oh, I'm so sorry, oh, I'm so drunk. He never says that I shot him. He's like, oh, I'm just so sorry, I'm so drunk. So question what he's apologizing for. So that's the prosecution's case. Seems pretty easy. Then the defense comes up, and man, it gets spicy. First, the defense goes, they're not telling you about half of what's going on. The most important thing they're not telling you about an eyewitness who saw 2 women fighting, Kelsey and Meg. And so let's talk about why them 2 are fighting. Let's talk about how she was in the front seat. The gun was caught in the front seat. Let's talk about how she might have gunpowder. She does have gunpowder. Let's talk about how this has nothing to do with the fight between Tori and Meg and everything to do with the fight between Meg and Kelsey. And then the defense starts dropping the bombs. He basically says this, that they're in the car. Yeah, they left. But do you know why they left? They left because Kylie and Tori were in the pool together.
Got it mixed up.
And Kelsey and Meg both felt some type of way about that, to the point that Meg felt really some type of way about that, and she was really trying to go, to the point that eventually, because of how Meg is acting, this is according to the defense, Kylie Jenner goes to Meg Thee Stallion and says, it's time for you to leave. They all leave. The defense's point is what happens in the car is this. Tori questions Kelsey, hey Kelsey, why are you backing up Meg for me trying to, get it on with Kylie Jenner? Meg has been snaking men from you your whole life. I hooked up with you, Kelsey, and then Meg went behind your back and hooked up with me. And, Kelsey, this is not the first time. You had been hooking up with Ben Simmons. Meg went behind your back and hooked up with Ben Simmons. You have been hooking up with the baby. Meg went behind your back and hooked up with the baby. And so the defense starts dropping all these grenades. The crowd is captivated. The jury's like, oh, what's going on? And there's every reason to believe that there could have been a fight here, not between Tori and Meg, but between Meg and Kelsey. And the shooting could have not been Tori. It could have been done by any one of the other people in that car. What does all of this mean? Well, I'll tell you a couple things. First, Corey Gamble, Kris Jenner's
So
husband,
that's done.
I want to say that was not a clear-cut description. He spent 10 seconds on what the prosecution said and 2 minutes on what the defense said.
Yeah.
So that very much, and the defense is dropping bombs. The crowd is captivated. That guy was there for the defense's explanation, not for the prosecution's. So I don't feel like because I feel like he didn't say anything about I guess he did say that, he sent messages and whatever, but
What's crazy
they're
to
turning
me,
it's a slut shaming thing.
I don't know that it's a slut shaming. That's not the vibe I took from it, and I'm interested. I find it interesting that you took that from that, because when I heard that, I'm still very much on Megan's side, and I'm like, okay, so this is just some fucking guy who's trying to out this woman's sex life. That's it.
That's the slut
and it
shaming.
has nothing to do with the issue at hand. Like, who
Yeah.
she fucks has nothing to do with who shot her.
And that's exactly why they said that. That's exactly why they brought up DaBaby and Ben Simmons.
Well, this is
Because
what they do
they
to
can
women
take-
on trial. They try to tarnish their character by showing who
Slut
they
shaming.
sleep with.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, don't worry about what happened to her. She's a whore.
Literally.
She's fucked Tory Lanez. She's
Do you
fucked
remember-
DaBaby. She's fucked Ben Simmons.
Do you remember that case with Brock Turner, the guy who digitally raped? When I say digitally raped, that means he used his hands to penetrate her behind a trash can at the sorority party. They brought up her entire sex life on that trial and paraded it for everyone to see, and they tried to make her sex life a form of consent. It was the most disgusting, vile display of
And it worked.
male misogyny. It didn't work because he still was found
he
guilty.
got 3 months.
No, he was found guilty. The judge felt bad for him because the girl, what happened was the girl said, I don't want him to rot in a prison. I don't want him to spend the rest of his life rotting in a prison for this. And because she said that opened the door for the judge to be like, I don't want this poor young gentleman to just ruin his life over a mistake. I see a
Also-
lot of myself in him because I did that several times in
Right.
college.
Yeah, dude. And what does
know what I mean?
rot even mean? There's no way he was going to spend the rest of his life in jail. That's not the
That's
way
what
the
I'm
U.S.
saying.
justice system works. We don't
So, but
punish rapists.
Yeah, when she found out the actual ruling, she was like, so he was sentenced to 6 months. He served 3.
Yep.
And he's out and about in Indianapolis, I believe, and going to like bars and stuff. I've seen like things circulating of like, oh, he's been spotted here. Warn your
At bars.
friends.
Yeah.
Like, I hope his life is
in a bar.
miserable.
Yeah. I mean, I think somebody said they saw him on like a dating app or something too.
That's terrifying.
So I just spilled coffee on myself. I'm like trying so hard not to get it on my tan cream colored shirt.
God, I'm proud of you for handling that.
Thank you.
But so that's like a common theme in the justice system, and I
Yeah.
guess that's not something I
Happens
really
every
picked
day.
up on because I'm just so used to hearing that. I'm like, oh, it's a
Yeah.
woman. Yeah, of course we're going to talk about who she had sex with. Why? That's what we do on trial.
yeah.
It could be like, is she an unfit teacher? Let's find out who she slept with 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah. That's what, yeah, dude. It's really tough because after like learning that he was like sending messages to say how sorry he was and
Yeah.
that there's somebody who says, yeah, he shot her. Like, not only did she say that 2 minutes after it happened.
Says Tori shot Meg.
Yeah. It's happened 2 minutes after she says that. And then here we are, however many months, years later, and she's still saying that is what happened. And also, like you're saying, she has not every right, but every reason to say fuck Meg. Like, they're not friends anymore. They obviously didn't have a strong friendship in the first place. So she has every reason to be like, I'm not going to fucking help you. But they're trying to say it was her. Yeah, like, I mean, and they're gonna say it was Kelsey. I think that is what they're saying. It could have been Kelsey, but also, you know what I saw?
What the defense has to do usually is point the finger at somebody else to
Create
create
a reasonable doubt.
Reasonable doubt. So that's
Yeah.
what they're doing to Kelsey, and that's actually pretty fucked up.
That is the fucking way that it goes. What I saw somebody tweet that they were like, do you remember the Tory Lanez August Alsina situation? So they were at some like event, and it's in like an arena because they're like behind, they're like backstage at like a huge venue. And August was the first one to say something. He's like, Tory Lanez just beat my ass, basically. Like, he was like all fucked up. August Alsina came out and was like, Tory Lanez beat my ass. He fucked me up for no reason. And Tory Lanez is like, I was never there. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. He's lying. Then there's a full video of Tory Lanez.
And then comes the CCTV footage.
Tory Lanez tries to shake August Alsina's hand, and August Alsina walks by him because he's like, fuck, I'm not your buddy, whatever his reasoning was. He walks by, he ignores him. And then later on, it's alleged that, like Tory and his crew like jumped him basically. And his face is like all fucked up. But Tory Lanez said, I was never there. I don't know what he's talking about. I never saw him. And then there's a video of them together. So we know you lie. You're a liar. We know that you lie about things. So...
Yeah, no, definitely. He definitely lies all the time.
yeah.
But also, has Meg ever been caught in a lie?
Well, she said in an interview that she never fucked him, that they never had a sexual relationship. I think that's what she said. That's the verbiage she used. We never had a sexual relationship. And somebody on Twitter was like, well, she said they never had a relationship, but that doesn't mean they didn't fuck one time. Like, that's not the same thing. But it's like, I did not have sexual relations with that woman. It's like same thing. It's like, yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Bill Clinton, you know. But like, it's so hard because as a woman, it's so hard to be like, yeah, in a public light like that, when your business is all out for the fucking world to see. And you know that the moment that you even admit that you have sex at all, they're going to be like, whore. slut, shame,
Yeah.
harlot. So I'm just trying to, like, honestly, I was like reading the whole like, oh, Kelsey was fucking Tori, and then it came out that Megan had sex with Tori, and then the girls are fighting, and I was like, that is like such like a sensational, like,
Misogynistic
juicy
trope.
Yeah, it's right, but it's like a spicy story. Like, it's dramatic, and it's fucking ooh, like there was, and so I feel like obviously the defense is going to choose a storyline like that, and then obviously there's going to be people who believe that because it's just more fucking spicier. It's what we've seen many times before, and what we know creates havoc. So
Can't imagine the amount of anxiety just pulsating through your body on a daily basis going through something like this. My God.
Yeah, I cannot imagine. And then on top of that, people are just talking about your
Everything.
most intimate moments that you might have had with people, like, and honestly, fuck DaBaby for fucking saying anything about her in general. Like, knowing the fucking that this shit was gonna happen, DaBaby had to go and put on his fucking album, yeah, I fucked Megan.
He's such a dick writer. Like, that's such dick writing activities. Like, what the fuck, bro?
He's so lame.
Like, you needed that clout? Like, because guess what she would never do? Fucking put that in her album. That's so lame. That's literally so fucking lame.
Yeah.
You know who was impressed by that? 14-year-olds.
Yep. I know, it's really crazy what like stan culture has done to our society, to be honest. Like, it's really crazy.
You know,
the way people just hype
that is
these
so crazy
abusers
because
up.
literally, because so like Trisha Paytas.
Yeah.
Don't know. I've never watched her content, but I just know her to be extremely fucking problematic. Mm-hmm. And she just is like this bulldog that can't get canceled. She's like that which is uncancelable, can't be canceled.
Well, and it's like if you like do enough cancelable things, then
there's like, oh, that's what she does.
Yeah, like it's to be expected of her, and she has gone through enough things and not had to suffer the repercussions that probably there's not very many more things that she could do.
She's a mother now.
Yeah. Wait, all the fucking memes about her baby being like Queen Elizabeth reincarnated.
Yeah. Apparently that bothered her a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, talking about people's babies is definitely like a trigger.
I just can't take her. I'm so sorry. I don't mean this. I know this is a disrespectful thing to say, but I don't look at her as I can't see her being a good mom like that. Like, she just seems like such a fucking train wreck. And that's what she portrays online. So that is not my fault to have that idea of her in my head. Like, she knows what she puts on the internet and uploads. Okay?
Yeah.
And so I see that behavior. Does it just stop once you have a kid? Do you just stop being fucking psychotic?
I don't think so. I think the world would be a lot better if that was the case. But I think we'd have a lot less psychos if you just stopped being crazy when you had kids. Cause
how do you feel about people making like YouTube channels and like TikTok pages with their kids?
With their kids, I don't know. I still haven't figured that out, dude. Because
I've seen a couple different things on it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, yeah, I feel like it isn't right to have your kid's face online from the moment they're fucking born without their permission. But I also feel like 9 out of 10 kids now, like, that is like a dream of theirs. Kids that are old enough to talk and old enough to, make a TikTok video. I don't know. It's hard.
I think that it is a misperceived dream if that is the dream. Having a TikTok family is not the fun, glamorous life that you think it is. Your mom and dad are completely in control of you. Everything you do with your life is on the internet. Like, it is. And also, things we need to think about. Who are the people following little girls' pages?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
many fucking pedophiles are following these children's pages, and it is jarring for me to think about. Like, it's insane.
Yeah.
So, because
that
I've been
little
seeing, like,
girl.
go ahead.
That little girl, Ren. Do you know who that is?
No. I think I've heard of her before, but
I
there's
think
this
that's
other
her name. And I don't know
There's
if
this
that's
other
the kid's
influencer.
name.
There's this
Okay.
other influencer named like Maya Knight, and she has 2 twins.
Uh-huh.
And she like just does a bunch of
don't know that
content
one.
with them.
I do follow a couple influencers that have families, and like what I've noticed is a lot of times, like this one girl that I follow, when she does have her kids in her content, it's like not like their faces. It's like them playing on their play set or like, you know, whatever.
If
it's
you
like
want to have
not
your
really
kid in your
that much.
content every now and then, that's fine. But I don't think you should be building a social media following based off of you and your kids.
Yeah. I mean,
Like, that is just an extremely dangerous child star slippery slope. Like, opening up your child to be prone to so much abuse.
yeah,
In so many different ways.
one of the other people that I follow had an issue where like her kids were recognized at school, and that she was like posting about how like uncomfortable it was to know that there were like people at their school who were treating the kids differently, whatever that may be, like that it was in their school where they're supposed to be like, you know, safe and be kids.
Safe and
Just be
regular
kids.
kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's such a stressful dynamic to have with your parent. Like, I don't think people realize, like, filming content with someone is so unnatural. Like, obviously, you can have a good time and whatever, but, like, when you and I sit down to, like, film a fucking 2 Girls, 1 Bong video, we fucking gear up, get our fucking internet faces on, and we fucking film the video. Like, we're not like that all the fucking... Like, obviously, you can see our true personality shine through in everything that we do. But obviously,
But there
like,
is
I'm
a
not-
switch.
Yeah. YouTube face, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's just like having to do that at home with your parents and like all of that, and just, I also fucking hate it. I'm sorry, I don't have kids, but I'm gonna rant about parents. Anyways, I think it's super fucking, like I said, I don't have kids, so I'm not speaking from a place of like knowledge or being allowed to do this. So feel free to hate on me in the comments. It's fine. But I don't understand why people like to take videos of scaring their children, punishing their children.
Dude, have you seen the video going around of the mom cutting her daughter's braids off?
Yes.
She's
But that's just, those have been going around. Like, people are shocked by it because it was pretty violent the way that she was shaking this girl's head around. Like, it was hard to watch. It was really difficult for me to watch.
Also, she's talking about how her daughter thinks that being pretty is more important than being smart.
And that's literally
she
her whole persona.
She has a filter on that gives her eyelashes and lips. And
No, you can look at her whole account. She's obsessed with body image and everything like that. And she seems very jealous of her daughter. Truly. It's giving very, very, very weird.
Yeah.
But I digress. Those have been going around for years. Do you remember when that mom cut the little boy's hair in the shape of in like an old man's haircut? Because he got in trouble at school. So they cut his hair like in
down
a bald,
here? No,
yeah,
I don't
like
remember
with
that.
a bald spot.
Dude,
And the kid's just sitting there on camera crying. Just crying.
There was a kid who also they shaved gay into his hair because he said something.
Did something
to the effect of, I don't
that
know
wasn't
what it was.
wasn't to the masculine standard that his parents had set up in the home.
Yeah. And I think it was like his uncle or something. Those people got that. I mean, I hope the kid didn't go into this fucking system,
care
but I
program.
know that they did get in trouble, the adults that were
Good.
present. There was like the mom and the uncle, and I think like an older brother or something or sister that was over 18. But I actually knew a girl in high school. I might have told this on the podcast before, but she had a party for homecoming when we were juniors, and she got in trouble, and she had this long, gorgeous, fucking beautiful hair down to her belly button, thick and luscious and shiny and beautiful. And they fucking cut her hair into a pixie cut as punishment for that.
Do you know what, like, that's actual trauma that you're inflicting on your child when you do that kind of shit? Like, just find a regular fucking punishment, bro. Like, are you serious?
So sad.
Like, that's horrendous to do that to somebody, to strip them of something that is so personal. Like, that is insane. That feels like assault to me. It is assault.
It is, honestly.
That's horrifying.
Yeah.
But that's like so common on the internet. There's like a whole genre, like especially during Christmas, people love to have the Grinch come into their house or wherever, into their pictures, and just scare the fuck out of their kids. My parents never did that to me growing up. They never derived joy from seeing me in fear.
My brothers did, but not my parents.
Well, yeah, big brothers do that because big brothers are fucking feral. Oh my God. Speaking of brothers, I'm sorry. I'm having serious refined ADHD this morning because this is a sugary caffeinated beverage.
Yeah.
So I'm spiraling, but very specifically. I was watching this TikTok this morning about this, like somewhere in like England or something. They did this experiment with like 15 little girls and 15 little boys. They put them in a house for a week. They had the boys in a house for a week with no parents, no supervision. And then they had the little girls in a house for a week with no parents, no supervision. And watching the differences in how
they
acted is, the world makes sense why it is the way it is.
How old were the kids? Like what ages?
I would guess they were between like 8 and like
12 or something.
Like,
okay.
they were very young. They were grade school kids. But the boys, so I'm just going to start with what the boys did. So basically first day they went through and they just trashed the entire fucking house, like broke things, like just smeared things on the wall, threw things on the floor, just absolute fucking chaos. And then they created like these violent little games in which you have to hide. And if they caught you, they would like beat your ass.
And
none of them cooked
them. They just filmed. Oh my God.
Yeah, they just filmed this. It's a social experiment. Obviously, like the kids weren't getting their asses like truly beat, but it was like a violent little game.
Yeah.
And then they didn't cook a single meal. They were just eating like sugar and cereal and things like that. They all took a cooking course before this. They had food and things that they
had survival skills.
Yes,
already.
They were given
gave
the skills. They gave them the skills
God.
needed to like survive for a week by themselves. And it ended up like the boys ended up separating into two different groups. Like the shy guys who like weren't as loud and crazy, they all like basically hung out in a room by themselves. And then the crazy boys would just like go around the house and like one of them was like, do you want to have an orange fight? Yeah, let's go throw apples at the house. And so they just go get all the fruit and they just start chucking it at the side of the house.
Are they British?
Yeah, they're all British. That's an extra level of greatness to this video. And so one of the little boys is like just so over the chaos. You can see he's so clearly just like overwhelmed. He like walks into the kitchen and he's like reading how to make a pizza for himself and he just like puts it in the oven. He's just standing there. Meanwhile, people are like just throwing apples and orange. Like, it's insane. And then the little
I need
girls,
to see this immediately.
Yeah. So the boys basically went absolutely fucking feral. Okay. Yeah. Little girls, day one, they did draw on the walls. But they were drawing flowers. It was like an artistic enterprise.
They were decorating.
Yeah, one girl like put like yellow on her hand and like did like handprints. It was like cute. Like they were making cute little art projects on the walls.
Yeah.
It was in the enterprise of making art, all right? I'm definitely biased. You know, both. If you looked at the boys' walls, it was like black smeared down the walls, and the girls had flowers. Okay, it was a very different venture that they were on.
It's a clear winner in who is has any logic behind their actions.
Yeah. So the little girls, they do start breaking some rules. One of the girls is like drinking or doing whipped cream out of the can. Another girl found chocolate. She says, "Look, chocolate." She's eating the chocolate.
So
a bunch of them are out on the trampoline just screaming and giggling and jumping on the trampoline, having a great time.
Fun. Oh my God. So
and then
cute.
one of the girls, I swear she must be like an older sister or like the oldest sibling. You can just tell that she has a lot on her shoulders.
She's like motherly.
Because she literally started cooking them dinner. Her name was Shelly. Shelly was so sweet.
Shelly. Oh
Yeah, so
my
Shelly
God.
was like cooking them dinner, and one of the girls comes in. She chopped up onions, and the girl was like, "Oh, I'm not very fond of onions." She says, "All right, I won't put very many in then." so they make this whole dinner. All of the girls sit around. All of the girls sit around at a table. They eat this meal together. They thank Shelly for making the tea. They said, "Thank you for the tea, Shelly," because tea is what they called lunch or whatever. Yeah, and.
I'm literally Googling this right now. I just want you to know. I need to I know there's more to it than just that TikTok, and I need to watch every fucking second of the entire thing. I need to watch that.
It's so good. And then so Shelly continues to mother the house and is cleaning up after people. And then so while Shelly's cleaning up, these other two girls organize a fashion show. And then after the fashion show and things like that, they all start trying to clean the house together. The little girls are scrubbing the walls together. They're vacuuming, they're all cleaning the house together. But one thing about the girls is they are psychologically not very nice to each other sometimes. They do try to comfort each other, and they do try to apologize and come to agreements on things, but they can also be fucking mean to each other.
Yeah.
Because somebody was mean to Shelly.
Having a blast the whole time.
Boys are just being feral.
Yeah.
But
what did somebody say to Shelly?
One of the girls told Shelly that she was useless. And so she
That's
was
a lie.
really... Yeah, no, so she was really sad in the room, just crying by herself, and all the girls gathered around her and they said, "Shelly, you're not useless. You made that. You were slaving in the kitchen.
You chopped onions, Shelly."
They were so proud of her. But Shelly knew her worth, and she's like, "No, I'm not." She left. Shelly left. Shelly said, "Fuck this. Y'all don't deserve me. You don't get to say I'm useless." And I hope she took that energy through life. Okay, I hope she carried that fuck that energy through life.
Yeah.
But yeah, the girls, they cooked themselves meals. They had to end the whole thing, they had a talent show. They set up a little stage with cushions.
That is the
They
cutest.
created a whole little society. And they also created a list of chores. They had a chore list on the wall, and they would mark it off who had to do what and whose job it was to do what.
It is so fucking cute and endearing, but it also makes me kind of fucking angry.
It shows you how differently we're raised.
It makes
and
me
the
kind of fucking
expectations on
angry.
Girls.
Uh-huh.
But
But it's just crazy because
angering.
those are not crazy
skills to have.
No, just taking care of yourself. It's just that's it. That's all it is. Taking care of yourself and your space. So why don't we teach boys to take care of themselves and their space? Why? It's not. It's a
I
lead
think
by
that
example.
some
thing.
people do try to teach them, but it's just more socially acceptable for them to be inept in that way.
Right. It's a lead by example thing, because most homes the dad does not clean. In my house, my dad cooked. So that's why I got to adulthood without ever having made a meal for myself, because my mom didn't cook. So there's things like that, like the gender roles in the house make a huge fucking deal. And you're right, just societally in general, in movies, in TV shows, in all of the content that we consume, in friends' houses, just men are fucking useless.
Not expected to do any of that shit.
Yeah, not
it's just
expected
not
to do that.
expected.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
because granted, I live with Rajul, and he was raised in a house of all women.
Right. So he
Cleans.
knows how.
He cleans. He fucking cleans our bathrooms. He does our dishes. He'll do laundry. He washed our sheets yesterday. He's very much. And I grew up in that kind of house where my dad was my parents were not 50-50, but they kind of volleyed on who did different things. It was never one person cleaned, one person cooked. It was always they kind of switched roles.
Yeah, split the
you know what I mean?
responsibilities. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how a fucking normal house should be.
And that's why when people are "Oh my god, he changed diapers and had a glass of wine waiting for me at home," I was that is bare fucking minimum. My dad, I grew up with my dad. The man would not only change diapers, he would take the baby out if my mom needed a break. He would rub her feet nightly. He worshipped the ground she walked on. And that's my level of oh, that's a good man. Because I'm so
Yeah.
sorry for people who have seen mediocre their whole lives. Because you shouldn't
sad.
settle. You should have a man that makes
Yeah.
you feel good and
Yeah,
helps
that's what
you.
a relationship is for. Exactly. You split the responsibilities. You show appreciation. You help
And you come
each
to an
other.
agreement on that. You know,
Yeah.
you're like, all right, I will do ABC if you do D.
EF.
DEF.
Yeah.
I lost my ability to do the alphabet.
D.
Wow.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah, that's really it makes me really like just sad to think about. But I do think like a lot of people in our generation are raising their children. Like I feel like there's more people consciously raising their children in our generation than in American society ever before, by far. Because I think there too is a lot of the people that are our age, a lot of them had parents that were fucking like
Young.
I was gonna say like love children, like in the fucking 70s and 80s, like where really the like they were growing. I guess it's not 70s and 80s, it's more 60s and 70s, but they're like they grew up in that era, so they're like, or were, you know, become adults in that era and are more aware when they were raising their children. And probably they weren't, you know, I don't know when the concept of gentle parenting was introduced, but
I just had an epiphany.
what?
Okay. And I don't know. I might be connecting dots that aren't meant to be connected, but my papa, the one who has dementia,
Yeah.
he was married before my Nana. I have like a different set of half cousins from him that I met one
wow.
time. Mm-hmm. Or a couple times. And I'm wondering, was my Nana the other woman?
Oh. Okay, Nana. Was she?
Like, or did he just like get divorced and meet my Nana? Like, you know, I don't know. But I don't expect I'll ever get the real tea on it either.
Yeah. Probably not. I mean, I don't know. I feel like you could ask your Nana. Like,
I could ask my Nana. She might feel
Yeah.
like messy one day.
I think
might
your
ask
Nana
her.
would. I think she would tell you. Because you know what, too? Like,
Scandalo.
I feel like old people, like, want to talk about, most of them anyway, not all of them, of course, but
The things they used to do.
yeah, they want to talk about their lives. And, like,
Yeah.
I feel like it is freaking, you know, I've been thinking about how, like, my mom's family fucking sucks. Like, she doesn't get along or didn't get along with any of her siblings. Like, a lot of them were fucking hyper religious, fucking judgmental assholes, not good people. But I've been thinking, like, and I don't know how they are now. I haven't talked to them in fucking years. Even before my mom died, I didn't talk to any of them for years. But I've been like, something in me wants to like reconnect with my aunt or uncle. There's a few that I will leave alone, but there's a couple
Yeah.
that I could see myself reconnecting with just to hear stories about my mom, like, because they grew up together. Mm-hmm. And I feel
should
like
do
that
that.
is, yeah, but they kind of, I don't
You know,
how
there's
my
like some
mom
very.
was
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't know if my mom would want me to do that, or if she'd be like, don't fucking talk to those bitches. Like, fuck them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I think that if she obviously she knows your intentions and where you're coming from, and is just wanting to be closer to her.
Yeah.
And I don't think that she could ever be mad about
maybe
that.
she would. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you're right. When my mom was in the hospital, my uncle's wife, who's not blood related to me, my uncle's wife, was in there, and my mom fucking hated her, and she was like there, like rubbing my mom's head, like in the hospital bed, and my sister told her, like, you need to get the fuck out of here.
I'm
like,
so happy because I would have turned up.
My sister did that to my uncle and his wife, and also my aunt, who's my mom's sister, who just was a fucking hypocrite, and like
She said she doesn't like you.
yeah, she wouldn't want you, first of all, seeing her like this, like, and she wouldn't want you to come to her fucking aid after, you know, what?
She's got who she needs by her side right now.
Yeah, there's 7 kids and a husband, so I'm pretty sure we're
she's
good.
built
We're
her
staffed
family
up.
outside
Yeah,
of you. Thank you.
We're
Goodbye.
staffed up. No staffing shortages here.
We're actually at max
Anyway.
capacity on the room. Sorry.
And honestly, we were like not supposed to have that many people in there at any time. But yeah, I think you should ask your Nana about their time.
met.
Well, yeah. What were the circumstances, Nana?
Were you a little minx? Were you a little homewrecker?
It's funny though because we have like these images of like homewrecker and like the other woman,
And it's my Nana. I'm like,
and they've been married for
50-something years now.
yeah, like so. It's funny. Because actually they have one of those, and it's not a home wrecker situation, but in Adam's family, his grandma passed away in like 1997, and then her brother passed away either the year before or the year after, but they passed away very close to each other, and so his grandpa married his sister-in-law. Similar situation to but they got married and they're still together, and that was like 25 years ago.
Yeah.
And
like,
so
damn,
at
we're
first
both missing somebody.
Yeah,
But we know
they
each
were
other already.
Yeah, they were already kind of old at that point. Like, they're in
you
their
can't be mad.
60s. Like,
Oh, 60s. When are you going to find somebody that likes you in your 60s? It's hard.
yeah, it is hard.
You know what, though? My Aunt Sandy met somebody when she was like 70.
Really?
Yeah. She
Oh,
met
sweet.
a guy when she was like in her 70s. I don't know that they're like madly in love, but
Oh,
they get
okay.
along.
Oh, okay. Right.
know
I
what
mean,
I mean?
and what can you really expect at that age? Like,
It's not going to be a hot romance.
That's funny.
LOL.
Did we have a
I don't think we have a question, but did you bring a current event, bitch?
me? No, I didn't.
Oh, nobody did their homework this week. I see.
I
I feel like there's other things happening in the news recently that are exciting.
I agree, and for that reason, I'm gonna go. Oh my God! Well, do you want to hear something? Well, this is a very local story, but
Would love it.
the
gonna take a bong
basketball
rip.
coach. Okay, the basketball coach at UT was actually poached from another Texas school called Texas Tech. It's like up there in fucking Lubbock in the middle of fucking nowhere. No offense to anyone who lives in North Texas, but it is like
They probably know.
fucking yeah. I think they do. I think they probably do. So that guy used to work at Texas Tech, used to coach at Texas Tech, the basketball team, and he was like a hero in their town. And then he announced one day, like, I'm going down to UT in Austin to coach because they're paying me more. And it was like this huge thing in Lubbock. Everyone was so mad. Okay. And he was just arrested 2 nights ago for domestic violence. He like attacked his wife. Well, I don't know if that is his wife, but it says a woman in their home.
A woman that he's living with. Okay.
Yes. So we're assuming it's his wife, but so it was like a huge fucking, he got out of jail. He was bailed out or whatever, but it was like a really fucking, and then the basketball team had to play. So it was 2 nights ago that he was arrested, and then the basketball team had a game like that evening. And so that
Didn't
was
have
like a
him.
huge, no, he was not there. They had assistant coach
But I don't think
coaching,
you should
but-
be able to keep your job after.
no, he's suspended without pay pending investigation. He probably won't get his
Okay,
job
see,
back.
how is the NBA or whatever the colleges better at reprimanding people than the fucking police system? They always get suspended with pay, and that disgusts me.
No,
because
without
I'm
pay.
a taxpayer.
Oh,
no,
the police.
They suspend,
The police
They,
still.
they suspend
Yeah,
police
you're right.
with pay.
Yeah.
Constantly. Like, oh,
I thought you were
shot
talking
3
about
teenagers.
what I said. Yeah,
You shot
Yeah.
3 black
How are
teenagers
you-
suspended with pay.
yeah.
You get a vacation.
And people wonder why we hate the fucking cops. Have you seen the video? Okay, this is crazy because I watched this video of a woman who's a police chief somewhere, I don't know where, but her and this man get pulled over. They're on a golf cart, and the guy either doesn't have a license or the golf cart's not registered. Something's wrong. They get pulled over. The woman hands the cop her card. She says, "I'm the police chief and blah, blah, blah. Call me if you ever need anything." And there is like this, he lets him go, obviously. There's like this big uproar, which there should be, but there's people that are like, why? Like, they didn't know that happens. I've known that happens for basically my entire life.
No, they have one that you can give to your families too. You have cards that you can give to family members, like wives and children. You can give them your little card, and then you hand. That's what you're supposed to do. They teach you, like if your parents
you hand them a card.
You hand them when you give them your ID, you hand them their card with it, so that they know, oh, my dad's this or whatever. It's insane. You know what I've seen? I've seen a version of that not work before.
Really?
There was a guy driving to Vegas, and he was going like 150. Like, he was going really absurdly fast.
Yeah.
And maybe not 150. That sounds insane, but like over 100.
Yeah, fucking fast. Too fast.
That's
unreasonably
at
fast.
That point. That's deadly at that point. Well, it's deadly slower than that, but that's when they give you an extra charge. If you're driving over 100 miles per hour and something happens, you get an extra charge because that's like endangerment at that point when you're driving that fast. So he gets pulled over. He hands the cop his little card. And the guy's like, "Bro, I can't let you off for this. You're endangering the lives of people on this road. You're going way too fast."
Yeah.
And I don't know, because the officer who handed him the card was Latino and the other officer was white. So there were people in the comments saying like, "Oh, if it was a white officer, he would have been fine."
I was already thinking that. When you said it, I know about something like that where it didn't work. In my head, I'm thinking that person had to have been brown of some sort. Because, and that is, nobody should get that privilege. But if you're going to give the privilege, you better fucking give it to everybody. Like, that is like so crazy that even racism even trumps the fucking brotherhood that is the police force.
Bro.
Yeah. Okay, I have a Ask 2G1B. Yeah.
Let's hear
This is from Lacybug.
Lacybug.
Cutie girl. Here we go.
Hello, Ask Two Girls One. Oh, this is like a microphone. I'm echoing into my bong. Anyways, Ask Two Girls One Bong. I want to know how the ever-loving fuck you got your shit together enough to start a podcast, because I really want to start a podcast, but oh my lord, my brain is scrambled eggs and I cannot put it together enough to actually do something like that. Tips? How did you actually get that shit together and start the podcast? That's what I want to know. And cheers.
I'll tell you how.
Unfortunately, we can take zero credit for that. Truly, we can take zero
Honestly,
credit
you're so right.
that.
Was it also someone else's idea?
Yeah, it was Arend's idea. Arend is the one who said we needed to start a podcast. And then Dev is the one who produces it and puts it out for us every single week. So my advice is get a good team. I know that's not possible for everybody, but that is the only way I know how to do it.
I was going to say, I guess, the podcast is separate from Two Girls, One Bong, but somehow people loop all of Two Girls, One Bong in the podcast sector. And what I was going to say is that, yes, what you have to do is you need to find yourself a Mac Dizzle that has tons of ideas, and then you will already be about 99% of the way there. So the extra 1% you'll have to figure out. But yeah, you're right. We didn't have any. Not in the podcast. So
No, minimal effort was output it on our behalf.
Yeah.
But if somebody that might be a good resource, Ariana Indica wife, she produces her own podcast on her own. And I've listened to her podcast. It's actually really interesting. I definitely recommend that you guys listen to it.
She has so much to
it.
say. Yeah, she's let's chat about it. Yeah.
It's very, very good. I would recommend the episode where she talks about being a dominatrix. It's a good listen.
Fuck yeah.
But she might be a better resource to ask.
Yeah.
I don't, because we did not do it.
Yeah.
We did not do it. But
thank you for the question, Lacey Bug.
Appreciate it. Remember, you guys, leave us another one.
Ask2G1B. Hashtag Ask2G1B on the pipeline. Get into it.
Wow, I was very chatty today.
You were chatty today. I love it.
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
My brain was just firing off.
Dude, yeah, Adam drinks yerba mates. Have you had those before? Do you like those ever? It's like a canned tea that you can buy at the gas station. But it's also a tea like that. It's native to South America. It's like a national tea drink in a couple countries. But he decided to get, instead of buying it for $3 a can
I saw in his story he bought the brew.
Well, we put and you know what, I'm not even going to take responsibility for that. He put way too much tea in there. I was like, you need to put, because like he watched this video where the girl put 3 scoops. So he's like, I'm going to put 6. And I'm like, yeah. And
Why?
then yesterday, just because he was like, I want to make sure that it's fucking enough caffeine.
But what if it's too much caffeine? You can't go back.
Well, then yesterday I went into my room and he actually startled me because I went in there and he was laying down and I was like looking down at the dogs and then I looked up and he was like laying down and I was like, whoa, because it was like the middle of the day. Like I haven't seen him go
You're like, why are you here?
I was like, are you okay? Like, he's like, yeah, I don't feel too good. Like, it was like his belly, it overloaded his belly, like all the caffeine. It was like a freaking, and you know what, well, if you're still listening, you deserve to hear this. Last year, I took an Adderall to try to get some stuff done, and I also drank a double caffeine coffee. And I was in bed. I know, stupid. I don't know why I did that. We were moving, and I wanted to like get things done. It backfired. I was in bed for like 3 hours because I just didn't feel
awake.
Well. Yeah,
just wide awake.
Right, and feeling nauseous and like it was like anxiety and also physical. Like I felt sick, and so yeah, he was like, yeah, I just like in my stomach, like I'm anxious and like I can't freaking. And I was like, I know exactly what you're feeling, because and he was like, I'm so glad I didn't have anything else mixed in with that, because he was like, I would have been dying. So yeah.
Oh my God.
Anyway. Don't take too much caffeine.
Yeah. My green tea.
It'll mess you up.
It's 2 tea bags of green tea in a concentrated amount of water. And then I fill this almost completely up with ice. And then I pour the hot or the warm green tea over it so it like melts down.
And it's like a little watered down too. There's a little extra water. Yeah.
Yeah. So all of the ice has melted in here. It was filled up with ice. So this has diluted it quite a bit.
Yeah, that's the way to go.
Yeah, you guys got to make sure you don't take too much caffeine. That absolutely contributes to anxiety. It's not
100%. So, yeah.
All right, well that's gonna be it for the day. I'm gonna keep talking about the Megan and Tori case until it's over. So just be prepared for like the first 20 minutes of every episode. We're gonna
talk about that. Yeah, sounds good. Fuck yeah. Well, yeah. Right. Thanks for listening, guys. I hope my sound wasn't too bad.
You keep your kids off the internet for the purposes of
safety.
Well, no, like if you're trying to make a channel with them, that's weird. Just be you. Make your own channel. Your kids don't have to be a part. If your kid's doing something super hilarious, post it. We want to see that. That's great.
Right.
But don't make your whole account about it.
Yeah.
That's the words of wisdom I'm leaving you with this week.
There you go. It's good stuff.
GGYO.
Love you. Thanks, guys.